If you're watching this, it's because you don't have the clients that you want to work for, or you're just not where you want to be in your editing career. Because let's be honest, if you were, you wouldn't be watching a video like this. You wouldn't have clicked. What I talk about in this video is going to be the lessons that I've learned over my last 3 years. So I started editing as a hobby with like Fortnite videos, probably like a lot of you just in the gaming space. And I started charging like $2.50, $5 for my first videos, and then continued to scale up, growing my brand, growing my editing skills. And now today we're doing videos for like 1,000, 1,200, 1,300, around that space. So the first thing you need to understand, the best use of your time right now, it is most likely going to be into your visual editing. So what you'll find a lot of people talk about in this space with editing and just YouTube content creation in general is all these like fancy terms, things like storytelling, and then use this one AI tool, and then use this crazy retention technique. But when it comes down to it, you need to understand, as an editor, your main job is make sure the editing looks good. Sure, these things that we named are important. There are AI tools that can speed up your workflow, but at the end of the day, if your editing is objectively shit, it's not going to be able to be fixed by some crazy AI tool that can magically make it all look better. And I know this isn't the sexy answer, but honestly, the reason I put it first, it is because for you watching right now, like 99% of people watching this, that is what you need to focus on. I promise, if you spend even 2-3 months just focusing on the one thing that really matters, which is your visual editing, and none of these like gimmicky stuff like, oh, maybe I should try After Effects, maybe I should try this one thing that someone taught on Twitter. Like, if you actually just focus on the one thing that actually matters, I promise you would increase your prices by probably 2-fold. You would double how much you're making. If you're watching this right now, chances are you're using Premiere Pro, but this applies to anyone else as well. Use the software that you have and try maxing out the potential, instead of thinking, oh, maybe the grass is greener over at After Effects. But the thing is, when you do that, when you try to find the one thing that could unlock your potential with editing, is because you're scared to spend the extra hours that it might take for you to just get better at the software you're already on. Because I have a lot of people asking me, oh Malice, how did you get your work so good? How did you get it so smooth? I have people replicating my smooth editing style because of how good it is. And when I tell them that I do this pretty much all in Premiere Pro, none of them believe me. I've had people that genuinely DM me calling me a liar for saying that I work in Premiere. And the reason I was able to get to this point, and you can too, by the way, like, I'm not special in any way. I started just doing fucking Fortnite videos and gaming videos just like you. The reason I got here is because when I heard other people saying, oh, that After Effects is the move, why would I listen to them? You're taking advice from people that haven't achieved what you want to achieve. You see 500 new editors, guys that haven't got clients, moving to After Effects, and you want to follow them. I promise you that if you're using Premiere right now and you think you're good at it and you need to move to After Effects in order to get better, you are nowhere near your potential. Because I found, even in my own editing journey, every single time that I think, oh, I'm getting good at Premiere, maybe I should move to After Effects, I wait like a month or two and I keep editing, and then we'll be a month ahead and I look back and I'm thinking, I was such a dumbass. I wasn't even near to my actual potential. Look how good my editing is now. And then another month passes of me editing and I do the same thing again and again. So if I'm not at my potential with editing right now on Premiere, let's be honest, you probably aren't either. And I don't mean that to be an arsehole, but just by the nature of our dynamic where it's me teaching you, the likelihood is your editing probably isn't as good as mine on Premiere. So something that would really benefit you is having that mindset where you don't allow other people's opinions to distract you and kind of take you off course to think that something else is important. Because at the end of the day, you are an editor. It is going to be your visual editing that makes you the most progress in your career. The second thing that I wish every editor knew as they're continuing on their journey is that building a brand is probably going to be the smartest thing that you could do. I want you to take a step back and just imagine you're a creator for a moment. So you are looking for an editor. If you had 3 editors in front of you and you were thinking, okay, which one of these should I even consider? So the first one, he has 10 followers. The second one has 100. And the third one, he has 1,000 followers. Just based off this, if you couldn't look at their editing at all, which one of these guys would you trust more to be the editor that you want to work with? If we're being honest with ourselves, we would understand that the guy with 1,000 followers who built his page off of editing is probably gonna be a better editor than the guy with like 1 or 10 followers. And of course, there's a lot more that goes into brand other than just, oh, how many followers do you have, bro? Like, I've seen people with 10-20,000 followers, but they're getting 5 likes a post, and it doesn't really do anything for their clients. In the simplest terms, all a brand is, it is your social presence. It's how easily can someone come onto your profile and understand that, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. And like, you might be thinking that, oh, what if the guy with 10-15 followers is genuinely a really good editor? But the harsh reality is that a lot of the time, they won't even look towards their way if they don't have a social media presence. So let's actually talk about actionable steps now, things that you can actually do, tactics you can use. One of the biggest questions that I get is how to build a brand. And it seems like a good question, right? You probably think the same thing. But then if I went to Twitter and I opened up your tag, what would I see? And don't bullshit yourself. yourself, genuinely ask, if I went on your page right now, would you be proud of what I'm able to see and how I would think of your page? Would I look at it and be like, okay, this guy is genuinely an editor that I can respect and I can see he's putting the work in? Or is it just lazily put together, there's some random link, or maybe you haven't even done that, maybe it's just like some barren wasteland? For 99% of editors that are trying to build a brand, the best advice they could ever get and use is just start posting. And they hear this advice and they think that, oh, I'm way too good for this, or I need like the advanced tactics, I need the AI tool that could get me bare likes and stuff. But honestly, you're not going to get likes if you haven't posted at all. Start posting your previews of like videos that you've actually done. Start posting your opinions on editing. Start posting and interacting with the community, because there's never going to be a right time for you to start a brand. Genuinely, one of the only regrets I have with my Twitter is that I didn't start earlier. Like, big up Vise, man. Vise is genuinely the only reason why I have a Twitter today. Like, I still have the messages in 2021 when he told me like, oh, why don't you have a Twitter yet? It's really good for editors. And I was saying that I can't be asked. And to this day, I am so glad that I actually made the Twitter and he told me that it was the right thing to do, because he was right. One of the only reasons I have like 20, 30 creators, and these aren't small creators, these are guys with millions of subscribers. I have this many clients reaching out to me because of my brand. I remember for me, I didn't post for so long because I was like insecure about my work, or I was insecure about showing my face. But honestly, nobody gives a shit. You might not be the best right now, but the way you get better isn't by practicing behind the scenes and then when you're suddenly amazing, you can start posting. You get better by posting. You get better with each repetition you do. There's a link to a Discord in the description right now. Go join it. And then we have a channel called Share Your Work or Share Your Editing. Make a post within the next 24 hours and post it in there saying that Malice told me to post and start building my brand, and this is my first step towards that. I promise I'd have so much more respect for you if you did that, because let's be honest, it might be a bit uncomfortable, it might take some effort, but isn't that reasonable considering your goals, considering that you want to make thousands and thousands of dollars editing from the comfort of your own home? Would it not be unreasonable if it didn't take some effort? So once you've done that, go into the server, go post it, ping me. I usually don't get people to ping me, it pisses me off usually, but I'm asking you to ping me with the post that you've posted on Twitter, and I promise I'd be so proud of you, bro. The third secret that I wish I knew earlier in my editing career is understanding that all of this, it all comes down to social skills. Like, we go about our editing careers thinking that, okay, we are the editor, this guy is a client, he's a YouTuber, we exchange value, I make the video, he pays me. But at the end of the day, this person that you're contacting, they are a human. Just like how me and you, we both have like a life outside of editing. We both have like social lives, we both have friends, we both go out on the weekends to go enjoy ourselves, we both have families we speak to. These creators, they have all of that as well. And if I asked you to go outside into your real life and start making friends, if you were struggling with that, would it not be reasonable for me to say, okay, go learn social skills and you will have a better social life? But like we said, they're both humans. You getting someone in real life to like you is the exact same things that you would do to get a client to like you. And it's like, generally your social skills are probably all right, but what I'm saying is that if you could genuinely like max out this stat, max out your social skills, imagine the competitive advantage that you have compared to every other editor. It becomes like your unfair advantage, which nobody else has, but you've put the time and effort into researching it. The book I recommend for this is called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Sure, it does take a bit of effort to read it, but like we said, it would be unreasonable for something that benefits your editing career to not take effort. Most editors aren't going to do this. I've had a few that do it and they've told me how useful it is. So I really hope you're someone that does take action, actually cares about getting better at speaking to clients. I don't make anything out of this, but it would genuinely not only change the way you speak to clients, but the way you live your life and you have these social interactions in your day. Like, this is a bit of a side tangent, but one of the easiest ways that I've found not to get burnt out, it is just by having a social life that you enjoy. Only 2 years ago, I remember I was such like an awkward, quiet kid, but now I'm not saying that I'm like some crazy popular guy, but I can go meet anyone on the street and I can spark up a conversation with them. And when you can say that, instead of everyone else who just chills on their phone like a loner during their editing breaks, you actually have rejuvenating conversations with your family, with people outside, with your friends. You actually make them feel loved and they do the same. That's probably the best way that I've found to avoid burnout. Not only do you enjoy yourself more, but you actually benefit in your work as well. The fourth secret that I wish a lot more editors, especially newer ones, knew is that it's okay to say no. Naturally, when you come into the editing scene, I remember this was me a few years ago, we all have this kind of like like scarcity mindset where any client that says no to us or doesn't want to work with us, we see as an objective loss. And on the flip side, if anyone does say yes to us, doesn't matter what price, if they say yes, that is a good thing. Like I have this story about one of my earlier clients. He was a Roblox YouTuber and he hit me up in 2021, so a couple months into my editing career. Now this Roblox YouTuber, he was gonna be my biggest client yet. He had 200,000 subscribers on YouTube and he's asking me to work with him. Now I'm used to getting guys with 100, 200, maybe 1,000 subscribers, so this, I couldn't let it slip through my hands. We discussed a little bit about the style and what videos he needs, and then we start negotiating prices. I tell him 30, he says 25, I say 28, but he's adamant on $25 a video. And I'm thinking like, okay, I'm not an idiot, I'm not gonna take a video on for such a low price. But the thing is, he did have 200,000 subscribers. This would look pretty cool on my portfolio, like, hey, it's a big client, I'd get a lot of respect for this. So I took him on as a client at $25 a video. He sent me the footage for the first video. I'd stay up all night editing it, and in the morning I'd send it off to him. I go to school, and then in that time he sends me another one, and then I repeat the process. I'm getting about 3-4 hours of sleep at a time, and that happened for an entire 6 months. And during that time I knew that it would be the right decision to leave, but I had this primal fear of like losing this big client that I had worked so hard for. But looking back at it, not only did I lose the money because like I was charging him so low, I lost half a year of progress that I could have made because I was too much of a pussy to say no. This isn't me telling you that, oh, you have to say no to every client. Don't go like overboard with this, but genuinely ask yourself, is this client treating me like an arsehole? Or like even before working together, is this guy just being rude to you? When you realize that's happening, take a step back for a second, let money like leave your mind. Genuinely ask yourself, do you have enough self-respect to leave this guy when he's being an arsehole to you? Because if you work with this guy, he's going to be the one that has these crazy expectations. He's gonna violate you when you make a mistake. He's gonna have you staying up at night till 4 or 5 a.m. editing a video. Is that worth the tiny bit of money that he's giving you? I think it'd really serve you a lot more to have this sort of abundant mindset where it's okay to say no to a client if he's just not going to be compatible with you. And of course, when you're doing this, don't be rude, be polite and everything. Like I tried hiring editors a while back, and there was this one girl that I was like trialing out. So I sent her the footage and I told her, this is the trial, it's a 1-minute video, I just need it back within the next 2 hours or so. She said it was fine, and 2 hours later I'm DMing her asking where the video is and she's ghosting me. And I'm like, you know what, maybe that's alright, like she might have forgotten, she's busy editing the video, perhaps something came up. But 6 hours later I'm still waiting there and she's not responded yet. So I don't want to waste both our times. I think time management and responding on time is something I really value. So I just politely told her like, I'm not going to be able to work with you, like I really appreciate your interest, but I needed that trial done on time. And what she did next, genuinely, I wasn't even like pissed, I was more just disappointed. She's ignored me for almost half a day from when she told me she would get the trial done, and the first contact that I get from her is her using a middle finger emoji to react to my message. And like, I'm not some soft guy who gets offended at stuff like this, so of course I understand like that was immature of her and stuff, but I feel bad for her because if she's going into client interactions like this, how many other potential clients for her are going to see that and think, I am never going to even consider this person again. When you are going to reject clients, don't be an arsehole about it. Say it politely, because you don't want to burn down bridges that could bring you amazing opportunities in the future. The fifth and final editing secret that I wish a lot more editors knew from beforehand is that you should invest ruthlessly into your editing. So there's essentially 3 types of resources that we can ever invest. There's time, there's energy, and there's the one that you're probably guessing, it's money as well. And the more that you can invest of each of these, the more progress you're going to make. This isn't even just in editing, this is in other areas as well, in the gym, in social skills, in whatever you try to do, you have these 3 things that you could invest. So we've actually covered time and energy earlier in this video. You might not have realized it, but the first point in this video was you spending your time and your energy to just get better at Premiere. Because ultimately, if you want to get better, you are going to need to spend more time editing. There's no shortcut. You are going to need to spend the time and energy to get there. But this third one of investing money, it was something that is actually still a new concept to me, because I used to always see investing money as like, okay, you invest into this stock, you invest into this index fund, you invest into this thing, and it's like compound interest. But what I heard from Alex Hormozi genuinely changed my outlook on everything, and this has made me a shit ton of money, is understanding that the best allocation of your money will always be into yourself. You should invest ruthlessly into increasing your income potential. Because let's say you have $100, like just for the sake of example, you have $100 that you are going to invest. If you invested that into some index fund which gives you like 5% return a year, let's say. You have made with that $100, $5 in an entire year. And okay, next year it's going to be compounded, so technically you make $6 that next year. But let's be real, in 1 year with that $100, if you spent on learning a new skill or improving the skill you already have, a lot of the time that's going to 10x, 20x your income. Like the story Alex Hormozi gave was when there was this girl working at a restaurant. She was at minimum wage. I think it was $8 an hour, and she was offered this weekend course. So it was this phlebotomist, like these injection type courses where you could take this course, takes 1 weekend, you have to pay $500 for it, but after that she would be qualified to be a phlebotomist. And there were people in her life saying that, no, don't spend $500, that's so expensive, why would you? But then if we take a step back from like the emotional side of things, you realize that if she's working at $8 right now, you spend $500 for this course, and now you become a phlebotomist who is making $25, $30 an hour. You've essentially tripled your income potential for $500. And sure, it might take you a few weeks or like a few months to pay that back, but after that, everything you make on top is pure profit. When I used to make money editing, even when it was like a little bit, like $200, $300, $400 a month, I used to spend none of it back into the business. So as an editor, what are the things that you can invest back into yourself? It's you upgrading your PC. It's you buying a new monitor and trying out to see if 2 monitors is more productive. It's you taking a course on something that you're struggling with. It's you paying someone to mentor you. It's you paying for this editing tool that might make your life easier. I used to never spend on these things, but as soon as I did, that's when my income started growing as well. When I was editing about a year and a half ago, I was making that $1,500, $2,000 range. And that was also the period where I would ruthlessly spend. I would buy the extra monitor, the setup you see today, I would spend on that. I bought a Stream Deck to start making macros on it. I started buying courses from these other editors that were offering it. And that was also the same reason why I went from like $1,000, $2,000 a month to more like 5, 6K. In a weird way, it was like the more money I spent, the more money I made. And this isn't some weird thing of like, oh, by the way, this is a perfect segue to sell my course. Like, that's not what this is. I'm just telling you exactly what I've done and what I've spent my money on. Like a few people aren't going to believe me, like, but if you're watching this, you know I don't lie about what I'm saying. I have paid for mentors. I've paid them $400 for a single hour of their time. And that's not me saying that you need to do the same, but if you see someone that is in a position that is where you want to be, like my mentor, he was making like 120K a month. If I see that and that is where I want to be, it makes sense for me to pay for his knowledge. Because if I don't spend this $400 right now, what is my other option? I spend 5, 6 years trying to learn the exact same thing. So is you saving 5 years worth $400 to you? Come on, over 5 years, what is $400? Whenever you make a purchase, whenever you buy a course, whenever you pay for someone's time, the worst case scenario is genuinely you get zero value out of it. So your potential loss would be a couple $100 you spend. But on the other side, the more likely side, it is that you do get value out of it, and that value, it literally could go up to infinity. You could make 50% more than you usually make, which would already pay you off, or you could literally be making 2 times more, which is more likely, or maybe 5 times more, or 10 times more, or 50 times more over your career because of this one thing you bought. Is that huge benefit, that potential, not worth a couple $100 that you might spend? In the grand scheme of things, any money you spend on increasing your earning potential, you'll make an exponential amount back from it. So what I'm trying to say is, like, this is more on a personal basis now. When you have the money to spend, if you have a bit of cash lying around, spend on shit that actually will help you make more money. Don't go buy designer stuff, because let's be real, you look like a walking billboard with like, okay, Gucci, and it's like you're just walking advertisement for them, bro. And I know you're thinking now, like, okay, but what if like this guy's a fraud? What if I get scammed or something? But what I found is the best way to find who to pay and what courses to go down, who to get to mentor you, just ask yourself, has this person gone down the path that I also want to go down? If you see someone and you look up to them and you genuinely want to be more like them, then it is worth to buy their product. And if you don't know too much about them, of course, do your background check, go look into their social media, go actually check like they're not lying. Like, this is a side tangent, but a lot of editors that you see now that are in this editing community that are trying to teach, a lot of them are just chatting shit to you. They're teaching you like, oh, how to make 10K a month editing, oh, 5 easy tips to get editing clients. Like, nobody gives a shit because you haven't done it yourself. You try to find these guys' portfolios and it's nowhere to be seen. They spawned in and suddenly they're a 6-figure editing entrepreneur with like a successful agency, but they don't have any proof of it. These are the guys that you want to actually stay away from, and unfortunately that is a lot of the guys that you see in this space. Of course, there are the legit ones, Finzar, Hayden, there's a few others, but just double check and do a quick background check, go onto their social media and scroll down a bit and see if they actually have the work to back up what they're teaching you. Because it's so sad I have to say this, but genuinely, most of these editors that are teaching you how to edit, they don't even give a fuck about you, bro. Like, you're literally just a pawn in their chess game. You're just a metric for them to grow their business. business with. They see that AI is trending, so they'll make an AI video because you're a dumbass and you'll go to anything that's trending. They see that, oh, so many editors are trying to do Iman Gaji style, so let me quickly make an Iman Gaji style tutorial so that I get better views. And like I said, I hope you're not one of those dumbasses that falls for that and just goes into the funnel that they're making. Like, let's be real, what I'm teaching you now, a lot of it isn't the sexy answer. It's not how to run a YouTube automation, how to have 5 passive income streams. I'm telling you what has genuinely worked for me in my 3-year editing journey. And the guys that have been following me for a while, you understand that I'm not lying about what I say. I have all my posts on Twitter. You can see every single thing that I've posted, every edit I've made since 2021. Like, the shit that I teach the things that only someone that has actually gone down the path of editing can tell you. These guys all say like the nice shit where it's like, oh, here's a cool retention technique, or like, I'll teach you that stuff as well, don't get me wrong, but I'm also going to teach you the things that none of these other guys can do. I've talked about my stories where I've lost friends because of my work, because I can't go out as much. I've talked about my dad beating me when he's caught me up late at night and he didn't want me editing. I've talked about times where I felt like killing myself because I lost a client which I was so proud and happy to have. The shit that I teach you is the things that you need to hear, but every other editor, not only are they scared to talk about it, but they literally can't. They haven't lived the life that they preach to you. Because my goal is to get 1,000 editors from doing what they once did as a hobby. Like me and you, we both used to edit as a hobby, but now we're trying to take it to the next level. We're trying to make a good income from it. And don't get me wrong, I like making money as well. Like, both of us are here because we want to make money from the business we've started online. If I make money doing that, I think that's a beautiful thing. Like, over the last 3 years, from when I started posting Fortnite videos a few years ago, I've gone through the same journey that you're on now. And I think it's such a fulfilling thing to know the life that I live and the freedom that you get when you know you've taken something you did, your passion, and then took it further. I know how fulfilling that is. Like, when I see guys that comment and DM me, like, thanking me for the work I do, I promise you it's so deeply meaningful. When I hear a 14-year-old saying that he went from $50 a video to over $400 in the space of a few weeks because of our content, that's life-changing money to him. When there's guys telling me that they've retired their parents, do you know how impactful what we're doing here is? When you have the financial freedom at such a young age, not only do you have the money to like enjoy yourself, you're gonna be able to go out with your friends and just buy them like a small meal, just buy them a coffee. You're gonna be able to look at your parents and tell them that if they're struggling, they can come to you. Of course, I'll help you go through that journey in your editing, but what we're doing here, it's bigger than just manipulating a few pixels. So if that sounds like something that you actually resonate with and you think you want to be a part of, go scroll down right now, click the red subscribe button to join us, and then click this video right here. I think you'll find it really useful. Peace.